Welcome to Dadbods and Touchdowns.
Hey, thank you for watching another episode of Dadbods and Touchdowns. I'm Chad, joined here with Justin and Eric. And just a quick reminder, if you like what you see, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Any kind of support we can get, we appreciate. All right, guys, let's talk about probably the biggest news of the week. The Ravens were going to take Max Crosby and trade with the Raiders, and all of a sudden they backed out. I mean, my take on it, guys, is that there was definitely a deal there. I think that everybody knew the situation with his knee. I think the doctors were they communicated well with what was going on with them. I mean, Eric, did they get cold feet and all of a sudden go, we don't need this?
Oh yeah, they're like we can get a Henderson for less money, keep our first round picks. This is probably better, and we won't be so scared of his knee injury or re-injuring his knee.
Yeah,
I felt like it was a pull of the rug. I felt like after that, where they were like, "Oh, we're trying to get both on the same team." Bullshit. There's no way. They're full of shit. They're trying to play the system, and people aren't going to want to do business with them if they're going to be that way. You know, Business is business, but not when you pull it like that.
That's what I was going to ask Justin, actually. I mean, being that they knew all the information, and it's been out there in public about all the information that was put out on him and how he was recovering, he was healing up. Justin, is this one of those things where they knew Hendrickson was going to be on their team anyway, and it was more of slow down the pace and make Raiders spend money that they thought they had and kind of take one of their competitions out before the season even began?
I can see it, but at the same time, I think they got cold feet because he wasn't ahead of schedule for his knee procedure. He was on schedule. I think the Ravens truly just got cold feet and got scared and said, "Oh, we're not doing this anymore." And now the rest of the NFL is pissed off at the Ravens and might not work with them in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I could see, I guess if I was a GM and this happened, and it sounds like it was pretty out there, like I said a couple times already, that the communication piece where he was as far as his knee was not ahead of schedule, but definitely they said he was on pace and he was going to be fine. I know there's always a chance of re-aggravating it, re-injuring it, whatever the case may be. But Max is the kind of player, to me, he's going to play through anything because he loves the game. He loves to play. And if I had to pick between Max Crosby in his current condition and Trey Hendrickson, who doesn't play the run as well as what Max Crosby does, you have to go with Max Crosby. That's why I always think that maybe they had a game plan in mind of, hey, we have our edge rusher who we need, who is a very good edge rusher, talking about Trey Hendrickson, who can't play the run, but we've got so-and-so or whatever the case may be, they may be counting on to play the run. So they're only going to play Hendrickson on passing downs only. That's why I think that they kind of did this on purpose.
Yeah. They have a young edges on the team that they have, depth in. So I don't know why you would waste all that money, over $100 million on edge rushers, which, I mean, they're important, but I don't even think they have the cap space to do that with Roquan and Lamar's contracts on board. So the argument that they wanted both is flawed to me. So I agree with you 100%.
Right.
I don't know if you'll see, Max was in the building with his family at the time, and they knew Trey Hendrickson was going there, and he felt like something was fishy.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's just bad. It smells bad.
I can see him doing it on purpose, but at the same time, that's not fair to Max Crosby, who had his family out there with him already, probably looking for houses and all that, and just to uproot him and send him back to Vegas. That's completely bullshit on the Ravens GM and organization.
Right. No,
well, now it's going to be interesting to see what they do as far as the Raiders, because they spent a lot of money, probably the most money out of any NFL team, which they had available, but it just changes.
Yeah, the Raiders already guaranteed Max Crosby's salary for this year.
So
yep, absolutely.
It's tough. I don't know.
I will say I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's staying.
So? Yeah,
he's staying in Vegas. They'll find a way to keep him there. I don't think any team right now is really talking to him. I know Dallas has kind of backed out of the situation. I know Chicago has kind of backed out of that situation.
Chicago doesn't have the money.
Yeah, they don't have the money, but even before they kind of backed away
They
because
could
of what the
get the
asking
money if
price
they really
was.
wanted to.
Yeah. I think the asking price was too much, what
Mhm.
what Vegas wanted compared to what Ryan Poles was willing to give. I know I've shot out to you guys that I could see, this year's first and maybe Odangbo and maybe next year's second rounder or something like that, but they don't seem to be giving up on they want 2 first rounders for him, and I
Yeah.
don't think they're gonna get it.
No. And I feel like the Ravens were like, "Oh, we got kind of screwed. We kind of jumped the ball on that." And then they're like, just kidding. We don't want to." Like, it's just, I don't know.
It doesn't make sense though, like to turn around and sign someone who's 31, going to be 32 compared to 28. It just doesn't make sense. When they got the same contract, it dirty move by them. Like I said
Well,
twice already.
Yeah, they keep their draft picks,
Right, exactly.
You don't build a team by free agency, you build it through the draft.
Right, absolutely. All right, guys, free agency has started, and we were texting them back and forth. I know we could go through every single one of them, but we'd be on here for a while, and we'd probably lose a lot of people that were watching, or the few people that are watching. We'd probably lose them quickly. But let's talk about our top 3 free agents that we feel that was the most impactful, that or re-signings that were most impactful. I'll start with my first one was Walker to Kansas City. I think Kansas City has lost a little bit defensively, but where they've lost defensively, they've always won their games being an offensive team. Don't get me wrong, Spagnuolo's always called a good defense, but when it comes down to it, it comes down to Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, who's returning, and now you add Walker, where I think Pacheco was not a very good running back for them in this past season. You have Rice back as far as wide receiver goes. I think they've done a great job of fixing some offensive problems they have, and Walker's probably the biggest impact that you could add to them to put them back into playoff contention and maybe even Super Bowl contention. Eric, who's your first one?
You stole it. I was going to say Walker as well. Walker just because of the fact that he adds that explosiveness that Kansas City loves. He's not the best catching running back, but he does add that element, and I like that they paid him. Like, it's bringing back the running back value, which is great to see in the NFL. I felt I feel like we were both kind of annoyed with how the running backs were being treated because it was ridiculous. I mean, you run the ball, but yeah, I agree with you. Yep, it's a good signing by them.
Justin, who do you got for your first one?
Yeah, same. Kenneth Walker for the Chiefs, 100% was the biggest sign of free agency in my opinion. And Chad, you said it perfectly. I think it puts them right back in the Super Bowl contention. Like, they lost some pieces on the defensive end, but they still have Chris Jones and Nick Bolton, their linebacker. They draft well. They'll figure out the secondary in the draft. I mean, for God's sakes, the corner they traded to the Rams, I forgot his name. All-Pro. Yeah, McDuffie. He was a 5th-round draft pick. They'll find people in the draft to play. They've proven time and time again that they're good at that, and they have their core there. That's all that matters. And adding Kenneth Walker to give the Chiefs an actual run game, that's crazy. Patrick Mahomes never had a 1,000-yard rusher.
He will this year.
As long as they improve their offensive line.
Yeah. All right, Eric, who's your second one?
And my second one, hopefully you didn't take this one. I'm just kidding. So I didn't want to do this but it's just the Jalen Phillips, right? Has a lot of upside, but man, that contract he had, 120, 80 million guaranteed for 4 years. I feel like I put it so high because of how high the value is of a pass rusher. Even I'm not saying he's mediocre, but I'm just saying he's not worth that. So that's why I put him there.
Gotcha. Justin, who you got number 2 on your list?
Tyler Lindenbaum to the Raiders for 3 years. Highest paid center of all time. I mean, I think they overpaid for a center. That's just me, but he's really good. And it helps them because they got a veteran center, and their quarterback's most likely going to be Mendoza, so it'll make it easier for him. So he doesn't have to call the whole offense himself. Lindenbaum can help him out. And it anchors that interior of the offensive line for the Raiders. Big impact. I mean, we've seen what Drew Doberman did for the fucking Bears, and Bears lost him. So Lindenbaum might do that for the Raiders. I'm not saying they're going to be as good, but it'll definitely help.
They'll be better.
Young Raiders,
that's for sure.
It'll help that young Raiders offense.
Definitely.
A lot.
All right. My number 2 is more impactful, I think, on the team as far as for the franchise than it is actually for the player, is Tua. I think Tua going to the Falcons is going to help the Falcons tremendously. And the reason why I say that, and I've seen that reaction, Eric, but this is the deal. He was a franchise quarterback from Miami.
No,
he had some injuries.
You keep stealing my people. That's why. Sorry. That's why. I was like, come on, Chad.
I mean, you're talking about a franchise quarterback you're bringing in to either take over the franchise or help whoever they decide to bring in as quarterback, a healthy quarterback, I should say, for that franchise. Listen, I don't think Tua's career is over. I think that this is a new beginning for him. He's got a new head coach, new players around him, and a new organization, and an organization that I feel is trying to win. Not that Miami's not, but I think that with the change of coach with Hatley in Miami, this was the best thing for Tua and definitely the best thing for the Atlanta Falcons. So that's who I got number 2. Justin, who's your number 3?
I think you got it. It's going to be no shock. Mike Evans to the 49ers on a 3-year deal, and it's pretty much only 1 year guaranteed. The first year is $16.4 million guaranteed. So if he is old and washed, they can get rid of him after this year. But if he plays even, say, 12 games and he's healthy for the end of the season going into the playoffs where they had no person to get open on the backfield, I think that is a very big signing, and it will help them out tremendously. There was an honorable mention that I wanted to mention was Devin Bush to the Bears. Michigan fan, seeing Devin Bush play. His career started off rocky, and he had a really solid year in Cleveland last year. And I think the Bears got a very good three-year deal there with only $20 million guaranteed. So that last year is gone too. I think that will be a good filler piece for the Bears for a couple of years. And Devin Bush signing.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 3, I got Greg Woolen to Philadelphia. He leaves Seattle. I think that this is going to be big help for secondary that I think defensively they ended up struggling towards the back end of the season for a team that should have been very strong defensively. So he's going to come in there and be an impactful and make that Philadelphia defense dangerous again. That's my number 3. Eric, I know you said I stole yours.
You
went
stole
looking.
You stole it. I was like, motherfucker. Anyways, so I just want to say it's a good partnership as well, just because Paxton Lynch is also a lefty and he can learn from. So I'm just going to go with Devin Lloyd. He was the best linebacker on the board for free agency. The Panthers did a good job adding another key piece to that defense. They had some good defensive, they got good corners, they got speed. I think adding Lloyd shores up that middle. It's a good contract, 3 years, $45 million, 22.5 million a year, or so it's not a bad contract. So I think it's a good signing for them. They added some key players for sure on the defense.
Gotcha. Sounds good. All right, those are our top 3 per person, even though I stole
Real quick
2
about free agency.
of Eric's. Yeah, what's up, Justin?
What about the Bengals beefing up their defensive line? They signed a couple, not like huge names, but they signed a couple. They signed a D tackle and a pass rusher that helped the defense out.
If I was a Bengal fan, I'd probably be excited, but I'm not.
It's
we found out that Justin is a 49er/Bengal fan.
I'm not a Bengals fan at all. I just think if you're a Chiefs fan, you should be worried.
Nah.
I think they're trying to overdo because they see what other pass rushers are going to be going against every, twice a year.
And I think they seen how they struggled when it came to not having Hendrickson on the field with them last year. So I think they need to look at that. I do feel that Taylor's in a win or
make or break it year.
Yeah, win or go home situation for himself as head coach of the Bengals. I do feel that. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's talk about some Bears. Eric, I'm going to ask you first because I know what my opinion is. Have the Bears done enough in free agency so far to satisfy you to say, hey, listen, they're taking it to the next level?
Yes, I think so. I think we did enough. We added a lot of speed to the secondary. We added and on the defense. Like I said, you don't build a team through free agency. You build it through the draft, and they've added draft picks. So I think they have done enough to where you're like, okay, I see why they let go. They got Kobe, who is a ball hawk and speed. You guys said Bush. He's known for speed, and he adds a nastiness to the defense that we don't see a lot of, you know. So he will be in your face, get some shitty penalties, which we'll probably get mad at him for, but we need that attitude on the defense. So I think we did enough. Would I have liked to seen something splashy? Yeah, but I understand why he's doing that, and I'm not gonna talk shit about Poles' draft because he proved me wrong last year. So I'm just gonna go with the flow and see what he does.
Well, I mean, my thing is maybe it was just expectations, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but after the splash he made last season, because he knew he had a problem with his offensive line and what he was aggressive and went out and did, compared to knowing that there's a problem with our defensive line and really not adding anything to improve to that. And I know this draft is heavy on edge rushers. I get it. And there's some solid D tackles in this draft class coming up. But how aggressive are you going to be to go and get those guys? I mean, you're going to have to be aggressive to get some of the top edge rushers that's going to make that change this year. You know what I mean? Or that defensive tackle that's going to make that change this year. That's my worry. I like the additions, but I don't like our subtractions. Who we've lost, I don't think makes up for what we brought in. The who we brought in doesn't make up for what we lost, I should say. That's my concern. I mean, you lost Byard, and I understand he's aging, but you couldn't tell me he was aging last year, and I don't think you're going to be able to tell me he's aging this year. And he went for $9 million.
So with that one,
Brisker
went for
hold on,
5.5.
Brisker, who I know you're not a fan of, Eric, but what happened when you actually put those pieces back around him as a defense? What happened? He shined through.
He had one.
He shined through. Yeah, but he only had one game where he had all the pieces with him. And even those pieces weren't completely healthy around him for that one game.
And
so I think that's a big loss for the Bears. I really do. And I know I question more his health than his ability. But I just think that the losses really concern me versus what we brought in. And I agree with you. You know, one of the things that I looked up on Kobe Bryant was the fact of how he can hit too. I mean, he's aggressive. You're not going to get much missed tackles out of the guy. And he's a ball, like you said. I mean, he's going to be quick to the ball. He's going to be solid to have in that secondary. I just think that where we lacked really bad last year, we failed to address. And that was our defensive line.
I see us making another couple moves before or after the draft. But Byard went to the New England. We gave him the same contract, and he chose New England because he wanted to be with Fangio. So that's what I want. Not Fangio, or Vrabel. I'm sorry,
Vrabel.
So to be fair, I was going to say that he chose to go to that side. But I don't know. Like you said, Brisker, he's just too much of a liability. He's going to get hurt. And yeah, we could have paid him that money, but we could also use that money hopefully to get like a Tyler Decker or a Trent Williams or something. I mean, there's still moves to be made. I'm not completely sold that we're done.
I hope not.
I say no with an asterisk because they can still sign Tyler Decker, which is probably what's going to happen if all signs point to it. But Chad, they lost Byard, Armour Johnson, Wright, who was a Pro Bowler, and Brisker. That's 4 pieces up. That's 4 starters at one point in the secondary. And they lost a backup to Byard, Jonathan Owens. He's gone too.
And Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, Tremaine Edmonds, they got his plug and play replacement with Bush, which not as good, but
right.
Phil.
But I'm just saying that as far as for losses go.
But fucking Byard had a great year, and Brisker played strong at the end of the season. Yeah, he's sometimes he's a liability. The last couple games in the regular season and in the playoffs, he played really fucking well. They could have gave him $6 million to stay in Chicago on a 1-year prove-it deal.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's my only thing is like watching football just like you guys, that's a lot to replace in the secondary. And Ryan Poles is not the Chiefs GM. He's not drafting a 5th-round player to be an all-pro in year 1.
I'll tell you right now,
he has the potential to
question Ryan Poles after last year when it comes to the draft. I really don't. And I shouldn't say that because I don't feel it's just Ryan Poles. I think Ben Johnson's got a lot to do with that too. So.
Hopefully the Bears replace stuff in the secondary because they did lose a lot. Very much so. I thought they would at least re-sign Wright because he had a decent year.
Let's move on from the Bears. And let's go towards Justin's team. Did the 49ers do enough so far in free agency to head to the right direction? Not just to me to be competitive for the West, but to be a competitive team in general?
No.
Justin? No?
The offensive side, yes, but they didn't do anything on the defensive line. Oh, you're going to sign Joey Bosa, who can't stay healthy. He's worse than Nick. No, they completely dropped the bag. They did get the D tackle from the Cowboys. He's decent, but they should have went after Hendrickson, in my opinion. Like, they could have given him the 2-year deal with the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And
No,
they should
I
fucking trade Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Trade Trent Williams and get him the fuck out of town.
But you can't. I agree to an extent, but this is the thing. If you're
Or at least
working on
draft
the
a replacement
defensive
this year.
right, but you got to look at the defense side. I mean, if you look at the 49ers in general, okay, their defense is actually fairly young, but as a team, they're the 21st youngest team at the end of last season. All right. So they're an actual aging team. They're like, what, 26.3 year average as far as for the age of that team. They got to get younger, right? So you got to get younger on the offensive side of the ball, but you have so many defensive struggles to me right now. I mean, you got Fred Warner, and like you said, you got the Bosa boys, maybe. That's it, realistically. I mean, you've got to fix that.
They brought back Greg Greenlaw. Ooh, I don't give a shit. He's not the same after tearing his Achilles. Like, cool. The only thing that I think is going to help them is if Michael Williams stays healthy this year, their first-round pick from last year. If he stays healthy, I think that will be a difference because Michael Williams did look good before he got hurt, and their D tackle from Texas, Alfred Blue, who got hurt as well. Like, if those two can stay healthy, for the love of God, if they can stay healthy, I think their defensive line will be a lot better. But I have to see them stay healthy before I can say, okay, they did enough. They already proved that they can call an offensive game plan with fucking anyone at wide receiver and win games. Now they just have to fucking stay healthy on the defensive side. And
do you
Morris,
think that you brought this up earlier, but do you think that Mike Evans signing, I mean, because he is an aging player, you and I shot text back and forth on this one, and they do have him at a value. I'll give you that. They got him at a value. Is this just more of, I mean, I know he's going to work with the younger guys, but is this to take some of that pressure off CMC maybe next season?
Yes, 100%. That's what it is. Shanahan's going to design plays specifically for Evans in those scenarios to get him the ball in the red zone where they struggled, because Evans is still good in the red zone. And I think it'll be more of a decoy to leave shit for CMC open. They need to if Pearsall can stay healthy, I think it'll help mentor him. But we all know that's not going to happen. There's the dude who should have played last year, Jordan Watkins from Ole Miss, who didn't see the field, young receiver. If he can develop just a little bit and they can put him in that three spot to be the slot receiver, I think that'll help get some more speed on the field too that they didn't have last year.
Eric, what's your thoughts on what the 49ers have done so far?
I don't know, dude. Every time I talk shit about the 49ers, their coach finds a way to fucking win games. So, I mean, like I've said, they should invest everything and anything they can in their training, the rehab, so their players don't get hurt. I've said it. You know, if they could get the Bosa brothers together, that'd be cool. I don't know how much Joey has left in the tank, like you guys said already. I mean, yeah, get rid of Trent Williams, but like, who are you replacing him with?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the hard part.
Or keep Williams this year, but you have to draft his replacement in the first round. Even if it's not that guard, the tackle from Alabama, take the tackle from Georgia or the tackle from Northwestern in the second round to get his fucking replacement. Start him at guard for a year and then move him over.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say really like who is the best, you know, but I just think
because hell, big boy Trent still slowed down. He slowed down a lot. You could see it last year in film.
No, 100%.
Still better than.
He's a savvy vet.
He's still a top 10 tackle in the league.
I would still take him in Chicago at left tackle for 100%
for a year. Yeah, exactly.
Over Taylor, if you're as Bears fans, who do you take? I was Ryan Poles. I'm signing Decker over Williams because
if Decker to me, I think is the right piece to put in there
because he's only 32. He's 30. Williams is fat, more athletic than Decker, so you can use him more, put him in motion, all that. But the age difference, you could get Decker for a solid 3 years at least.
Right. That and he understands the offense, I think.
But the issue with Decker that I have is that he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And once you're like that, I feel like you should just retire. And that's the hard part, you know?
Yeah, but I think that Ben Johnson can pull that foot back in for him.
Maybe, but it's just frustrating because you're like, you invest this money, 1 to 2 years on him, and then he retires. I mean, I don't We've
Then
been
you
burned
run
once
into the
already.
Dahlman situation.
Exactly. So
Ryan
Down
Poles
2-1.
was very, very, very vague about talking about when questioned about it this past week. Said that he didn't want to get too much into it for respect for Dahlman. And I mean,
I respect that.
yeah. So I think there's more to that story that hasn't been put out there, and that's okay. That's his privacy, and that's what he should get anyway.
Yeah.
It's his privacy on that.
Well,
but
his dad was played in the NFL, and he's, from what I heard, is that he sees what his dad goes through day to day, and he doesn't want to be like that, and I can respect that. You know what I mean?
right.
I mean, he's made enough money for a lifetime if he's smart with it, and he's like, retire wise, still have my wits in me.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It sucks for the Bears, but like ultimately, like we as fans were like, fuck. And same with Andrew Luck. He retired way too early, but he's like, I can't do this to my body. So they walked away early like most people don't.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Seattle Seahawks, are they dismantling or are they reloading, guys? Because they've lost a lot of people. Oh, Eric, I mean, do you think that they're reloading or they're dismantling because they're selling the team?
Well, I think it's both. They're fifth in age. They're for 25. So like they're a very young team, and they've shown that they can add key players through the draft. So I don't know. I can't really talk shit because it looks like they know what they're doing. Once they were able to get what they got out of Sam Darnold, but also they're letting go of Walker, who was a stud, but I know he can't pass catch. I don't know. I want to talk shit because they proved me wrong. So,
I mean, I think they're being smart. I mean, think about it. They still have all 5 starting linemen.
Yeah.
Okay, they're bringing back. So that system's not going to change for them on that aspect as long as everybody stays healthy. You still got Njigma. You still have Cup, and you were able to retain Rashid. If I say his name, Rashid.
Is it Schottenheimer or who are you talking? Oh, sorry.
No, they were able to
Rashid Shaheed.
Yes, thank you, Rashid Shaheed.
What does he play?
Tongue twister. He's
He's
a
a
wide receiver.
that they traded for from the Saints who
Oh,
brought in.
yeah. The returner. Yeah. That's a good
Yes.
signing. Yeah.
So they're able to keep him. I mean,
And they'll probably draft a running back just to replace Walker. Like Walker was a 2nd-round pick. They'll replace him. They have Charbonnet, who's proven he can be an every down back for a little bit.
as long as he can
and
be
then you
healthy,
draft-
but they
yeah.
don't know if he'll be back at the beginning of the season or not.
That's the issue. He
Draft. They're going to draft someone.
There's a lot.
for
There's
sure.
decent running backs this year. I mean, if you can get Jeremiah Love, bro, that team.
He's not.
They're
He's
not
going.
getting love. He's
No,
gone.
I know he's.
top
I know
10,
he's.
dude.
Yeah.
I know he's top 10, but
Yeah.
Jesus.
Unless they plan on trading the house next season's draft
Yeah, dude.
for him. I mean, that's the
God.
only way they're getting him.
They
But
got Washington
I just
getting
think,
him.
yeah, I mean, they did add Wilson from the Packers as far as the Packers running back. And I don't get signing the safety from the Colts. I don't get that because the Colts secondary struggled so much that they actually gave away 2 first-rounders to bring in Sauce Gardner.
Which
So-
they overpaid. He
Yeah.
didn't play for shit.
So I mean that speaks volumes to me about your secondary. And so I don't know what they gained from doing that, considering who they've lost, both corners and safety. You know,
They got a nasty front line, and they were able to get a lot of pressure. Did they lose anybody from their defensive line?
Was the Seahawks?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think so, right? They did?
Yeah, Maffey. They lost Maffey. He went to the Bengals.
Okay. Well, that's not a super big loss because their pressure's from the middle. They got Murphy and then the other guy.
All right, guys. Free agency, I mean, it's still going, but the heavy portion of it is kind of gone through. We're looking at the draft. Let's take some early predictions. Who's your favorite AFC and NFC team to be in the Super Bowl? I think I already know Eric's NFC team just because I know Eric, and he isn't the Homer fan for just being a Homer fan. It's because he's truly the biggest Homer fan. Eric, I'll let you go first. Who's your favorite NFC and AFC team so far out of free agency, and what you think they'll do through the draft?
So with the AFC, I think the Bills can do it this year. I don't know why. I have a feeling the Bills will be there, and then obviously the Bears will be there as well. We will get there. We will add some key players, and we will make it to them motherland. I just think there's too much, and we have the right coaching staff to do it. So I'm excited to see what happens.
All right. Well, my favorite I know Eric's going to love this one. My favorite AFC team, they're going to go back, is the Patriots. I think they've added offensively, defensively, and they have a very good head coach. Very good head coach, great coaching staff. The Patriots are back to being the Patriots. And I know they had an easy schedule last year, but they'll be back this coming season.
No.
I really feel that. Buffalo is Buffalo, dude. I've seen Buffalo through 4 Super Bowls and lose all 4. But anyway, and my NFC team is the team that's done the most for their defense, and that's the LA Rams. I think as long as Stafford comes back and he's healthy, they've got a great offense, and now that defense is really dangerous with both those additions at corner. So that's my predictions for the next Super Bowl. It could change after the draft. We'll see. Justin, who do you got?
I have the Buffalo Bills and the Rams. Like I said, Rams, the 2 trades they did on defense with McDuffie and other cornerback from Kansas City, and then the Bills bringing in DJ Moore, give Josh Allen finally a true number 1, and they'll probably draft another wide receiver in the draft. I could see them doing that, and yeah.
I just think
it's still hard to count out the fucking Chiefs.
Josh Allen chokes. I mean, let's call it like it is, guys.
He didn't last year, though. He had no team.
But he choked. He didn't win it. I mean,
when your number 1 wide receiver is your fucking running back, that's a problem.
I'm just saying. And not only that, you got a new head coach. You think he's going to the Super Bowl his first year?
How many times have we seen a new head coach outperform their projections?
Outperform is one thing, but going to the Super Bowl, that is a good question, and that's an answer we'll have on the next episode of Dadbods and Touchdowns. Has there ever been a first-year head coach to go to the Super Bowl?
I feel like there has.
It's possible. That I do not know the answer to.
I don't know.
He was in his first year in New England.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Yes, it does. By the question Chad said, it does.
This is true. Yes, you are correct.
Your wording Justin. Was not correct, what you were thinking.
You're right. You are fully correct on that one. But we'll have to get some knowledge on that and talk about it next pod for sure. All right, guys. There was a fight announcement. Ronda Rousey's coming back. She's fighting Gina Carano. I mean, two older female fighters, both very respected at their prime. It may be a money grab, but I mean, is there value to the fight though?
Ronda Rousey's not a what's it called, striker. I don't know why. Like if she was doing a jiu-jitsu or a judo tournament, yeah. But like as a striker, no, there's no value there. She's not a striker.
What do you think, Justin?
No, I've not cared about Ronda Rousey in MMA for years, and I also Gina Carano has been out longer than I almost feels like I've been alive. So I do not give 2 fucks about this.
No.
Did I think
what it is? A money grab.
Did I used to think both of them were busty? Yes. Do I still do? Maybe, but that's all about.
That's what I was getting to.
That's about it. I mean, I don't know.
I'm excited just to see the fight. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I want to see it. I think Kevin Ngannou on that fight.
We know what you're excited
too. What's that? What?
Seeing Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey and Sports Bronze Spandex
wrestling around. No, I'm too old to enjoy stuff like that. I'm an old man.
No, right, you're lying to us.
We need a Blue Chew sponsorship for Chad. Shout out Blue Chew.
Just kidding. Look out. No, not yet. Not yet. Speaking of, guys, I want to talk about something. I know I forgot to put this on the list, but Ronda Rousey brought out some good info or her thoughts on the current UFC, the projection that they're headed. The White House card, will I watch it? Yes. Do I watch all UFC fights? Yes. Do I think it's the best that they could put out? No. There's a lot. UFC has taken a beating this past week. I mean, we can call it right to the point, which will lead us to our next topic. But it took abuse from John Jones. It took abuse from Ronda Rousey. And then you got
their current heavyweight champ.
Yep. You got Cody Covington. I mean, let's go with this question first because it was on our list. Is Cody Covington done with the UFC? I mean, they're good. After his comments this past week, and I think there's some legitimacy behind that. Cody Covington doesn't duck anybody. I mean, he really doesn't, guys. I know he's not a fan favorite for you, Eric, but when it comes to fighting, he's always put up. He's always entered the octagon against anybody, has he not?
Even if he's got his ass whooped.
Right.
No. I I just don't like people with shticks. I know it sells. And I just don't
Right.
like it.
And he pretty
Like-
much said that this week.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, listen, I put myself in danger by trying to promote these fights. You know, he goes, I got paid $30,000 to fight in Brazil, and almost I could have been killed there. He goes, for what? To promote you guys, you know, pretty much admitting, hey, the guy that I've been playing is not who I am, but I did this for the company, you know?
And we knew that. It's just frustrating because I feel like every major sport has gone through it. I know UFC's still young compared to the other ones, but fair wages has always been a thing. You know, NBA, MLB, now NFL, and now the UFC.
Right.
While this company's making millions of billions of dollars,
Billions of dollars, probably.
yeah, exactly. The fighters are making minimal chump change compared to that, and I agree with that. I mean, they put their lives and their bodies at risk every time they go out and fight.
Their brains, especially.
Yeah, and I don't even think they have a retirement plan. I don't know enough, obviously, but like I feel like I agree with a lot of the fighters, and especially like I normally I tell Ronda Rousey to shut up, but I agree with some of the stuff she said because she does have a point about the.
Do you think Dana's being handcuffed, Justin?
By who?
TKO?
Maybe. But I could also see Dana fucking being the one handcuffed, but I could also see him fucking going along with it and agreeing because he agrees it and Dana White's a selfish motherfucker.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Dana White, do you think that man needs any more money? Do you think he's worried about a dime for the rest of his life? Do you think his kids are? You know what I mean?
No.
And the reason why I bring that up is because Dana White, going off of who he was in the past, he's a guy that stands on his ground only. You know what I mean? He's never given a fuck what anybody's thought. I mean, he's always stood on his ground. So when Ronda Rousey stands up there and says, listen, they need to let Dana White do Dana White versus what TKO wants because they're ruining the UFC, essentially, in her words. I mean, do you think that's true? I mean, that's when I said, is he handcuffed? Are they telling him, this is what we want? This is what you're going to do? I mean, I just, Dana being a guy that has stood on his ground like he has, he doesn't need more money. Does he walk away if that's the case? Or, I mean, how much truth is there?
I just think Dana doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
The fights, fight cards they have been putting together suck. They're no longer giving fans what they want. And it's just, let's be real. Let's call it what it is. The UFC's kind of sucked the past year or so. Besides Ilya Topuria or Pereira, who the fuck do you want to see fight? John Jones has said numerous times, hey, I want to fight. I want to fight. No, that's not how.
But fighters say certain things and they put out a certain image. It doesn't
when you
mean
have
it's true.
McGregor who said he wants to fight Jones, the two biggest names that draw people said, hey, Dana, hey, Hunter Campbell, get me a fucking fight. And they're like, no.
And, most of the time they're not talking shit about Dana. It's mostly about that Hunter guy. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what is true and what is not true. I agree with you guys. The UFC has not been peak like we used to have, which sucks. Shout out to, kind of the Cain Velasquez days. But it's just, I don't know.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, exactly. These young kids will never know about peak heavyweight fights. But
Frank
I don't know.
Mir.
They need to do something.
Tim Silva.
They have all this money.
Randy Couture.
They should be able to scout. Exactly. They should be able to scout more people, or they need to put in money into getting these top athletes like the WWE does and start them young and then build them up to be champions.
Now, do you guys see maybe this is where MVP and Jake Paul put their foot in the door and opened it?
I mean, there has to be something because there's top athletes that don't have anything after, college. And you could definitely scout them. They have the athleticism. You just got to teach them how to kick, how to, shoot and stuff like that.
I can also see maybe some mid-card fighters who are still in their prime going over there too, because if they're going to get paid more, and Jake Paul, that's one thing he's always called Dana. I'm not a Jake Paul fan, but one thing I do agree with is calling Dana White out on his bullshit. Pay your fucking fighters more. Help them out. The good thing that UFC does is they cover their fighters full medical. Like if they get injured while training, the UFC takes care of it. That's about the only thing that
they don't take care of his pay. They're paid though. If they don't make the fight, they don't get paid.
That's the shitty part. These guys train, for so long and they have, the last fight purse to go off of, and if you don't make this one, how are you going to pay the bills? And it's that's
Right.
shitty.
And the thing is they're not just paying themselves. And I'll never forget when Donald Cerrone put out on X, this is years ago, how many fights he had in a year, how much he made, and then what he paid out to everybody as far as
Right, you gotta-
coaches, gym, and everything else. I mean, you're talking about, I think at that time, and like I said, this is a while ago, at that time when he posted that, it was like he only made 72,000 all year long. So
Yeah.
That's like only a little more than I made.
I mean,
that's
and-
retarded.
And then
Yeah.
that's the other part is they don't have their own sponsors now either. They control the sponsors. They control,
yeah.
all those things. And I think that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you can
There's
at
going to
least
be a fighter who's getting here soon, I think.
because that's the thing. Like if you're not going to pay them, at least let them have their own sponsors, and then they can make the back end of the money there. It just there's a lot of flaws in the UFC, and it sucks because nothing's more primal than a fight one person versus another, and it sucks that you can't clean that up for them.
Now, we've talked about the fight cards, now do you think part of this fight card issue is because the UFC's got their money already? They got their money from Paramount. They don't really just give a shit about. I mean, when you do a pay-per-view model, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad there's no pay-per-view model, but when you don't do a pay-per-view model, that means you don't have to worry about how many people are actually jumping in and looking at it. They've got a 7-year deal with Paramount Plus that they don't have to worry about how many people actually view the fight. So do you think that's part of the reason why the fight cards aren't as strong?
Well, we saw last week when that blackout went, and they didn't say anything about
man.
it. Like it's just
Nah.
you gotta have
No statement at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the annoying part. But you don't see that from the NFL. You don't see that from all the other major. If you want to compete with these major companies, you have to have pride in your what is it? What's the best word? Your
In your production.
product and
Yeah.
production, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing? Like, yes, like you said, we hated the pay-per-view model, but still, I mean, you have talented
It
fighters.
forced their hands to make the card valuable.
Exactly. And it's
So
just frustrating. I agree. I want another company. I want somebody else to be there to make them better, because if they are monopoly, then yes, they will just give us whatever the fuck they want because there's nobody there to hold
Right.
them accountable.
And that's where I think Jake Paul comes in MVP.
Yeah.
I think that John Jones already asked for his release,
Yeah.
and Jake Paul's already said, listen, once he's done, yeah, absolutely, I'll pay him to come fight, So I think that you're going to see with
And then you get
MVP,
Jones versus Ngannou.
and that's what he said. He goes, you get what people have been asking for, because Dana's not allowing Ngannou back in the UFC. It's not happening. There's too much hatred there for each other, I think, personally.
I think there's a lot of growth opportunities, and I don't know. There has to be more to it. And I know fighting's a hard sport. It can't be just like you go to college to fight, but there's more.
No, but you go to
growth.
college to wrestle.
Exactly.
And that's
what
the
I'm saying.
base. That's the base
That's
of
what
a
I'm
good.
saying. And it's shameful to say too, but how many American UFC champions do we have?
I agree. I
So
agree.
I mean, it's just we got to develop
None.
better. We got to develop better. That's just what it is. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like it's just crazy.
One more question for you guys, because we were texting this back and forth during last Saturday's fight card for UFC. Do there need to be rules implemented for the BMF title? Because my take on this is Oliveira definitely proved that he was the better MMA fighter than Holloway. I'm not taking that away from him. He did what he needed to do to win that fight.
In a very dominant fashion.
But when I think of the BMF title, I think it was developed because Dana White wanted two guys that weren't going to nut hug each other. He wanted them standing up and throwing down. And when I think of a BMF fight, I'm thinking of two guys standing there, blow for blow, kick for kick. And you know what? Yes, a takedown here, some solid ground and pound or something like that. We didn't see solid ground and pound. We've seen submission attempt. So I guess what I'm asking is, when there's a BMF title, do you think, okay, yeah, it goes to the ground. You've got a time clock on the ground. You've got 30 seconds to make something happen. If not, you're back up on your feet. To make that bad motherfucker title reality.
So where I'm at, right? If you want to watch that, you got to go watch it. Go watch some Muay Thai or something. Okay, this is
Then
MMA.
Why would you
This is
do
MMA,
would you
Chad.
a bad
Chad,
motherfucker? Why
this
would
is
you do
MMA.
BMF?
There is nothing more humiliating as a human being than being held down for 5 rounds by
But
another
the
person.
title is not the humiliated title.
It's about being the man, and I feel like if you're held down by a man for 5 rounds, then you're a bad motherfucker. I'm sorry. It's MMA.
Eric
Wrestling
seems to
is
get
the
held
key
down
part.
for 5 rounds. That's why he says that.
Good one. Good one. You get held down by your. Never mind. Okay. Anyways,
Justin, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I think they need to get rid of it personally. It was a cool gimmick for a little bit, but they need to get rid of it. It's a fucking participation trophy. Get rid of it. Like,
Actually, you're right.
when Holloway and what Gaethje fought and Holloway and Poirier, yeah, it's fine.
And Diaz.
But like Diaz and Masvidal, it should have just been a one thing time and done. Like that's what it should have been done, because it's stupid. Like it should have been a one time belt. Just haha, Masvidal has it. Should have been his and done right there and then. But
maybe get rid of the title, but call it the BMF match or something.
They call it
it
the old man belt, where they're like past their prime, but they're still like the fight.
You think Gaethje's past his prime? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Ilya is gonna win that fight, but
Ilya's gonna beat the shit out of him.
He's gonna fuck him.
I don't think that Gaethje's past his prime by all means. I mean, I think that he can handle a good portion of that weight class.
It's where they're like right there, but they're too old to get here, Chad. That's what I mean. They're still good fighters.
Yeah, the gatekeeper belt.
Yeah. Like it's for guys that don't have a. I'm sorry, I don't think can win a championship at that level. Kind of.
But it's also of the fact that it's a participation trophy. Just get rid of it. It's the fucking UFC. Go after the belt.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think maybe call it a BMF match or something like that.
No,
you can promote it. You don't have to have a title. You can promote it as that. Hey, this is our BMF match part of the card. You know what I mean? I think they should have it where you're there to throw down. You know what I mean? You're there to kick, hit. I want to see some people get knocked the fuck out when I see a BMF, or I want to see two guys just put it all out there. You know what I mean?
I think they should just get fucking rid of it, and everything about the BMF should fucking leave the UFC. Like I said, it was very cool for the Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz fight.
Yes,
Rock
it was.
put the winner. The Rock put the belt on the winner. Like that was cool.
Yeah.
Get fucking rid of it. It's dumb. Like it's ran its course.
All right, guys, let's close this thing up. Justin, what do you got in closing, or anything to add? I should say, either one of you guys.
Fucking just people need to stop being stupid in the world. That's all I'll say. Ain't no reason to fucking cause mass destruction.
Eric,
you're muted, Poopy.
Still
give
muted.
each other, everybody, hugs and kisses, because we got lots of shit to do, and we don't need to be hating on each other like you guys said. We got some good fights later today. Hopefully, they're better than what they have. Better production this time. We appreciate everybody watching. Please like, follow, and we'll be back next week.
All right, I'm actually getting semi-bored with no football going on. I know we have the spring football league coming up here pretty soon, which will be pretty exciting, at least to see some kind of contact. But I'm with Eric. Hopefully this card tonight will be better. It's definitely been a struggle. Real American Freestyle 7, Cody Covington and Dylan Donis will be wrestling the main event for that. Actually, two very good grapplers. See how that works out. We'll touch base on that more as it comes closer. All right. But like these two fine gentlemen said, be kind to each other. All right. We're out. Peace.